Hi, I'm C.C. Péan, and this is Reclaiming Your Health. Good evening and welcome to Reclaiming Your Health. I'm so happy to have you all here with me this evening and with my special guest, my little cousin Riley Francis is on with us tonight. Riley has been spending the week with me and we've been trying out different recipes and creating things, and she's a total natural. As a matter of fact, I might give this responsibility to Riley. I think Riley should start hosting Reclaiming Your Health.
I don't know about that.
No. The other day we created some veggie burgers. She did a great job. We did these like completely, vegetables and beans and no junk, and they were delicious. She made 2 different burgers. She's got a gift. She's got a gift. So this evening, I thought that I would share the pleasantry and the loveliness that is Riley with you all. And she's going to help me do this dish that is a delicious, simple dish, very few ingredients, super easy to make. It can be an appetizer. It can be a main dish, depending on the size of the mushrooms you use. As you know, mushrooms are known as the vegan's meat. So there's so many different types of mushrooms that you can use. You can cook them up like a steak. You can fry them up like they're fish. There's so many different things to do. But tonight we're going to stuff them. And tonight we are stuffing some portobello mushrooms. So let me show you what they look like. These are our portobello mushrooms. They're the perfect size for stuffing. You don't want to get them too small. You want them to be about the size of your palm, really, because this way you can get a good amount of the filling in there. So this is what we have. Now, let me mention something to you before we get started. Do not ever, ever, ever wash mushrooms. Mushrooms are not to be washed. What you do when you get a mushroom is you get a clean rag, paper towel, or dish towel, and you literally go around it and just take off any dirt that you see. But do not wash your mushrooms. Why? Because mushrooms are literally sponges. And you will have a wet, soggy, bland, tasteless mess. So don't wash your mushrooms. Use a paper towel or a clean dish rag and take the dirt off. So the first thing we're going to do for this recipe is we're going to get rid of the stems and the gills in here, okay? And Riley's going to continue to do it, but I'm going to do the first one. You want to be gentle when you do it because you don't want to break up the mushroom. You want it to be as intact as possible so that you can fill it with this yummy filling that we're going to make. So what I have done is I'm gently going around. I've taken out the stem and take a look at that. This is what it looks like now. So we've got plenty of room for our yummy filling. So while Riley works on these, we're going to talk about what exactly we're putting in our stuffed mushrooms. In our stuffed mushrooms, we have some panko breadcrumbs that are they're super crispy, they're super light. You can also buy gluten-free panko breadcrumbs. So if you're somebody who's gluten-free, you can totally do this. So we have panko breadcrumbs. We have one of my favorite vegan cheeses, Violife. I'm using the Parmesan. We've grated a half cup of that Parmesan. We've got some yummy sun-dried tomatoes that were in olive oil. These are going to go in there. Let me come back around again. We have got some fresh parsley to add some earthy brightness to our stuffed mushrooms. There is something flying around in here. My goodness. We have got some pine nuts. We've got some crushed red pepper and some garlic. So all of those simple things are going to go into our mixture, okay? So Riley is just now finishing up, getting the stem out and getting those gills out. So it's going to give us plenty room. Okay, be careful around the edges. We don't want our edges because we want it to stay intact so that we can fill it up. And as I was saying, if you really want to kick this up a notch, you can use one of those big portobello mushrooms. I would suggest you double the recipe for that. And this could be served with some nice orzo on the side. You could do a nice lemony orzo on the side. It would be a beautiful dish, a full meal. Okay? So now that Riley, she's got one more to go. And just be gentle with it, you know, it'll come out easily. It may feel like you have to get kind of rough with it, but it will come out. There you go. There you go. Excellent. All right, so we've got those lined up, so I'm going to move this out of your way. And now we are going to get to making our mixture. So in our mixture, we're going to dump in the bowl what we can dump in without worrying about it. So we've got a half a cup of our grated Parmesan. This is our vegan parm. We're just going to drop that in the bowl. Excellent. We're going to take our half a cup of our panko breadcrumbs. That's going to go in there as well. Excellent. The next thing we're going to use are our pine nuts. Of course, if you have a nut allergy, you can leave those out. We've got some crushed red pepper that we're going to put in there for some heat. Okay. And so now, Riley, what you're going to do is you're going to mince the parsley. So just drop that on the chopping board. And I've shown you how to mince. You just want to make it a little finer than it is because we don't want big chunks of anything. I've talked to you all about that in the past. We want everything to kind of have a uniform size because when it has a uniform size, you're going to get a bit of it in every bite. I'm going to fix this camera because I think our heads are being cut off just a little bit. There we go. Excellent job, Riley. So what she's doing is she's mincing the parsley. Something else you could add to this to give it another beautiful flavor profile is you could put some fresh basil in here as well. That would be yummy. I love mixing the earthiness of herbs. Basil kind of has a sweetness to it. And then you have your, your fresh green herbiness of your parsley. So those two together would be great. I would not use cilantro in this. I would stick with parsley and basil. You'd have a really almost Italian type of flavor going on here. And I think you have done a great job with that. So I'm going to put this in the bowl. And then now you're going to do the same with those tomatoes. See how quickly this is going? And so the tomatoes are in olive oil, and you want to get your sun-dried tomatoes in olive oil because that softens them up a bit. Otherwise, they're going to be very hard and very chewy, and you don't want that. Here. Let me know if you need help with that one. Watch your fingers, babe. Remember, you got to cup your, I don't want you to get hurt. So something else you could do if you don't want to spend the time with your knife chopping it, let me help you out a little bit. You can always put it in your food processor. That's another thing you can do. You've done a great job, Riley. This being your first time doing it, I'm just going to help you out a little bit here. Okay, and we're going to drop all this in the bowl. Excellent. And let's move this out of the way now.
The garlic next?
Yes, so we're going to do the garlic. We have a garlic press. This is going to give it a little bit of pepperiness, Some people would prefer to use garlic powder. You can do that if you would like, but I just think that the fresh garlic, the fragrance and the peppery bite that you get from that. All right, excellent. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna sprinkle some cumin in here. Excellent. We're gonna use a little bit of salt, just a little bit of salt, because we have the sun-dried tomatoes in here, and those have quite a bit of punch of salt on it. So just a little bit. And what I like to do, Riley, is I like to put it in my hand. Excellent. So then I know how much I'm putting in. When you shake, just as a note for you all, when you use salt, that's perfect. When you use salt and you put it directly on your food, you don't really see how much you're using. So what I like to do is I like to, even if I'm in a restaurant, I will put it in my hand and then put it over my food. So that's a note. We're gonna do a couple twists of the black pepper. Let's take the top off of this. There you go. Couple twists of black pepper. Excellent. And now we're gonna stir this all up. And it's gonna be kind of a dry mixture. It's not really, it's not a wet mixture. And while she's doing that, I'm gonna go over and take what we're already baking out of the oven. Excellent. So what we want to do now, so you all have heard me talk about layers of flavor, right? So I don't want to just make one thing tasty. I want to make sure that every component tastes good. So one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to drizzle these mushroom caps with a little bit of olive oil, and then we're going to do a little bit of salt and pepper on them as well. So just gingerly, just careful because it's going to come out really fast. Okay. All right, that's plenty. That's plenty. All right, and now we're just gonna, in your hand, you're gonna put some salt in your hand, and then you're gonna sprinkle it over that. Excellent. And now we're gonna do some twists of, oh, you're a natural, Riley.
Thank you.
Okay, now we are on to stuffing our mushrooms, just that quick. Now look at how lovely this mixture is. I'm gonna go under, it's beautiful. Something that you can also add if you want to add a little bit of creaminess, you can add some feta. There's a vegan feta by the same company, BioLife, that I love. But today we're just gonna keep it really simple. So Riley, so what you're gonna do now is you're just gonna carefully fill those. Yep, and you're gonna use the back of your spoon and press it down a little bit. Yep, and then just put just a little more on top. And I have some extra from earlier that I'm just gonna drop in there. Just, yep, just like that, and put it down. And when you put it down, you can even actually add a little more if you'd like, but just keep going. Excellent. This is, I wanted Riley to do this with me too, because I wanted you all to see how easy it is, and that this is something you can do with your kids. If you have children that, you want to teach them better eating habits, one of the best ways to teach them is to get them involved in the kitchen. Children love creating, and this is something that's simple enough that it's not going to annoy you because it's really easy to do. Beautiful job, Riley. Those look great.
Thank you.
Those look great. And again, once we finish filling them all, we're going to go back and we're just going to add a little extra to it. So I'm going to leave Riley for a moment.
I'm done.
You're done?
Mhm.
Excellent. So now that these are filled, we can actually put just try to put a little more on top. Yep, if it's overflowing, that's fine. We have preheated our oven to 400 degrees. My oven goes really fast. So I did mine for about 15, but you probably should do yours for about 20 minutes. These look so good. Ooh, those look good. Excellent job. Oh, we've got just enough. So now that Riley has done that, I'm gonna come behind her and we're just gonna drizzle a little more olive oil on top. Just a little bit. You know, olive oil is good for you, but you still need to use it in moderation. Just because something is good doesn't mean you need to go crazy with it. That's something I've had to learn. And I'm gonna do a couple more sprigs of the black pepper. And if you all can see what this looks like, let's lift this up and put this under this camera. Can you see what the finished result looks like before we put them in the oven? Does that not look amazing? All right, so I'm gonna go put this in the oven and we'll be right back with the finished product.
I'm gonna put this inside the sink.
Don't worry about that for now.
Okay.
That was super simple. Oops. And I'm plating the ones we have done already. And I'm just gonna cut up a little bit of parsley to put on top, just to make it bright and pretty. Wow, we have finished this in record time. So 15 minutes later, you're gonna go to your oven, 15 to 20 minutes later, you're gonna go to your oven and you're going to pull it out, and this is what your finished product is gonna look like. These are our stuffed mushrooms. And Riley, what I would like you to do is I would like you to taste one of them and tell me what you think about them. Let's see. Those are pretty good. Those are really good, folks. This is a delicious, plant-based, healthy, nutrient-dense dish you can make in a matter of minutes. The most expensive thing in this is probably going to be your mushrooms, but you can also always go to Costco. There's an inside joke here about why you need to go to Costco to get your mushrooms. But you can go to Costco and get your mushrooms, or even Publix. I actually went to Publix and they had the perfect, they were labeled stuffing mushrooms. So it's super easy. Just scoop that inside out very carefully, put them aside, drizzle with some olive oil, some salt and pepper, make this lovely mixture, stuff it in there, put it in your oven at 400 degrees for 15 to 20 minutes, and you've got this delicious, delicious, delicious.
I'll take this.
That's good. So, another quick recipe in under 30 minutes. Riley, we did it. You are a television star now.
Not really.
Yeah, I think you are.
Not really.
Well, thank you for joining us. We will see you next week on Reclaiming Your Health. Bye-bye.
Bye.